The last key. I killed my wife 10 years ago, and tonight, I'm going to bring her back. The storm lashed at me as I stood atop the ancient tower, the bronze key clutched so tightly in my hand that its intricate ridges bit into my palm. Rain blurred my vision, but I didn't care. The sigils carved into the stone floor began to glow faintly, their power stirring awake after centuries of slumber. This was it. The moment I'd chased for a decade, a chance to undo the greatest mistake of my life. You think it's that simple, a voice cut through the howling wind. I spun around, the key raised like a weapon. A woman emerged from the shadows, her face hidden behind a porcelain mask. Her cloak fluttered in the gale, but her stance was steady, unyielding. "You've been warned," she said. "Turn the key, and you'll wish you'd never set foot in this place." "You don't understand," I said, my voice raw with desperation. "This isn't about power. This is about redemption." She tilted her head slightly, and for a moment, I thought I saw her smile beneath the mask. "Redemption? For you? Or for her?" Her words struck me like a blow. "How do you know about her?" Instead of answering, she stepped closer. Her form flickered, like a candle flame caught in a draft. One moment she was the masked woman, the next, she was Leah. My wife. The woman I had loved, and the woman I had lost. The rain seemed to freeze mid-air, and the glowing sigils cast her in an otherworldly light. "Leah?" My voice cracked, my chest tightening. She looked at me with eyes full of sorrow. "You promised me, Elias," she said, her voice as familiar as my own heartbeat. "You promised to let me go." My hand faltered, the key suddenly feeling like it weighed 100 pounds. You can't be her. This is another trick." She stepped closer, her hand reaching for mine. It was warm. Real. "You're right," she whispered. "I'm not her. But do you care?" A part of me screamed to pull away, to throw the key into the void and run. But another part, the part that had driven me to this cursed place, wouldn't let go. With a roar, I turned and thrust the key into the lock carved into the stone. The sigils erupted in golden light, and the tower shook violently, throwing Leah, or whatever she was, back into the shadows. The floor cracked beneath my feet, and the air was ripped apart by a deafening hum. The sigils burned away, leaving a void of pitch black. From that void, something emerged. It wasn't human. Its form twisted and shifted, 1,000 faces, 1,000 eyes, all writhing like smoke caught in a storm. Its voice wasn't a sound, but a presence that pierced my mind. "You sought the key of eternity, Elias Mordain. And now you have opened the door to oblivion." I staggered back, my hands trembling. No. The key was supposed to free her. To bring her back. The entity loomed closer. "You were told the price. You sought to rewrite the threads of fate, and now the threads will unravel. You are mine." I screamed as the entity surged forward, consuming me in an instant. The rain began again, washing away the glowing sigils and leaving the tower silent. For a long moment, there was nothing but the sound of water against stone. Then, footsteps. The masked woman emerged from the shadows, bending to pick up the fallen key. The porcelain mask cracked slightly as she smiled. "You always were too predictable, Elias." She turned the key over in her hand before tucking it into her cloak. With a whisper, she vanished into the rain, leaving the tower behind. Miles away, in a small village untouched by magic or rain, I awoke screaming. But I wasn't myself anymore. I was something else, a shadow of who I had been, a vessel for the thing I had unleashed. "The door is open," I whispered, my voice no longer my own. "And he's coming for us all." The people around me, people I didn't recognize, stared in horror. But far above, in the endless void beyond mortal sight, the entity waited, and so did I. For the moment I would be set free.